Hi everyone, this movie is an overview for the portfolio project in reflective paper for VOIM220. The portfolio project in reflective paper will demonstrate all of our course outcomes involving databases and spreadsheets, and will apply these lessons, analyzing the directions, evaluating alternatives to create a database with multiple tables, multiple queries, forms, and a report. There are two parts of this assignment. The first is due in week 7, and that's your portfolio project. What you'll do is you'll follow the directions and complete an Access database. You'll upload that project to your Optimal Resume account and submit a link in Angel for me to review. Now in week 7.5, the individual reflective paper is due. You'll follow the directions to complete that in Word essay format and attach that Word document to the appropriate Angel Dropbox. And please remember, in week 7.5, there are no late submissions. So let's take a closer look at what's due in week 7, your portfolio project. For the portfolio project, we are in the role of helping Video Rental Incorporated create a database of staff favorites. And that database will contain two tables, a movie table and a director's table. Let's take a closer look at each. Now there are 14 steps in the instructions, and for the first 13, well, this is the movie table structure that you'll need. A movie ID, a title, a release date, the number of Oscar nominations and wins, a category, and a link to the director's table. Now the instructions ask you to fill the movie table with data, and this may be the only time you ever hear an instructor say you should go to Wikipedia to find all of that movie data. I went there and selected a film like Gone with the Wind and did a search. And looking at the results, it returns a lot, if not all, of the information that I'm looking for in terms of Oscar nominations and wins, release dates, and all of the various pieces of information you'll be asked to fill in for your own table. Now for the director table structure and data, well, for the structure, you'll need a director ID, the first name and last name, and maybe a brief biography. And to find the data for that table, I'll suggest the same thing. Wikipedia has a fantastic database for this. So I entered in a director's name like Victor Fleming, and Wikipedia returned an absolutely appropriate line or two that I can use for that brief biography. And for steps 1 through 13, well, I'm not going to repeat them verbatim here. The directions are up in our Angel classroom. But basically, you'll create and populate tables, one for the movies and one for the directors. You'll export and import data to and from Excel. You'll join tables and create queries, both a simple and a parameter type query. And you'll create forms to maintain and add information to each of those tables. So those are the first 13 steps. Then there's step 14. Step 14 is, well, a small project in itself. And it states very simply, create a report based on the simple query you created previously, and this time include an image of the movie in that report. Let me give you some hints and instruction right here in this video. Before you begin, you'll need a copy of each bitmap image for every movie in your table. Now be sure that that image is in bitmap or BMP format. I tried using JPEG format and it didn't quite work out for me. So be sure to have all of those images ready before we move on. What makes step 14 almost a project in itself is that you'll have to add a new field to the database table that already is created, and you'll have to use a unique field type. With your database open the movie table in Design View, add a new field, and we'll call ours Image here, and that'll be an OLE object type field. Now save the movie table and switch to Datasheet View. From the Datasheet View, right-click inside any empty cell in that new Image column and select Insert Object. Now select Create from File and browse to one of those bitmap files that you had prepared before you got started and select OK. Once you populate all the data for that field in the movie table, well, you'll be able to move forward and, based on what we've learned in SAM and from our textbook, complete the remaining parts of the assignment on your own to create the actual report that contains those images. Let's spend a few moments talking about submitting your project to me. You see, this portfolio project provides evidence of the knowledge and skills you've gained throughout this course. Therefore, you will upload your portfolio project into your optimal resume portfolio. What you'll submit to me is a link into the Angel Dropbox so that I can review, assess, and provide you some feedback. Remember, evidence such as this in your portfolio is a great tool to demonstrate your knowledge and skills when speaking to potential employers. Your submission will be the Access Database file with the extension ACCDB. And what I'll be looking for in there is your Movies table and Directors table, the Simple and Parameter query, the Movie form and the Directors form, and that Movies report. Let's walk through an actual submission by starting with Angel. And under Student Links you see at the bottom is the Optimal Resume link. That will open a new browser where we can log into the Optimal Resume. Within Optimal Resume, we'll begin by creating a new portfolio. We'll give the portfolio a name like VOIM220 and select Start Portfolio. We'll start the portfolio from scratch and then select Continue. We'll add a new project with the name VOIM220 Portfolio Project. The description is Movie Database, and then we'll select the Continue button. You'll browse to that file on your local computer, give it an appropriate name, and then select the button Save File. This will bring you to a screen where you can see a link at the very top named Share. Selecting that link will bring up a screen like this one, Share Portfolio Instructions. And there you can see a link, and it's that link that we'll use in the next step. And here is that last step, and we're back in Angel in the Week 7 Dropbox. Please provide a title, copy and paste that link from Optimal Resume right here, and select the Submit button. I'll then use that link to access your project, and I'll grade it based on this portfolio project rubric, where you can see it will be evaluated against content and mechanics. This rubric is available to you. It's one of the two last pages in the instructions. Let's spend just a few slides and review the Week 7.5 Individual Reflective Essay. Now, the instructions for the individual reflective essay ask you to respond to each prompt in short essay format, and that's 200 words per question. Now, be sure to proofread carefully and submit your work to the Week 7.5 Dropbox. Now, the first question asks, describe and evaluate your own performance using the rubric for the portfolio project. The second essay question asks, how did you incorporate the various concepts you learned in this course into your project? And please give some specific examples. Now, the third question asks, you've been working on metacognition throughout your college career, and we've been doing that with weekly reflections, and this is usually incorporated into the last week in every course you've taken already. Now, as you finish VOIM 220, what has changed about how you would approach this sort of project in the future? What would you do differently in the future? Just a brief reminder about APA essay format. Each essay should include a title page in APA format with the title of your paper, your name, the school's name, a course title, my name and the date, the body, well, a separate section for each of those questions, and a reference list with each reference in APA format. Now, page and paragraph formatting, remember to use uniform margins, double space, include a running header, and page numbers in the top right corner. And once you've completed your paper, you'll simply go to Angel and find the Week 7.5 Dropbox, give it an appropriate title, a message, and attach your paper and submit that. I'll pull your paper down and review it against this project rubric. You can see there's 30 points each for the self-evaluation, incorporation of concepts, and metacognition, and that final 10 points will be based on the mechanics and organization of your paper. Well, that'll complete this video about our portfolio project and the reflective essay. If you have any questions, please post them up to the questions forum or write me a quick email and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you all.